What's up guys, how are you doing? Ghost here, and today I've been playing some Battlefield 3. We're having a bit of a throwback, so that's the footage I've got for you in the background today. Some Caspian border conquest in the fighter jets for BF3. Now the reason I actually decided to go back to Battlefield 3 is because of the jet situation at the moment in Battlefield 4. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who are having not so great of a time in the jets at the moment. Now, this isn't going to be a rant video in any case. I hope that DICE are doing everything in their power in order to fix this problem, because at the moment, the jets are simply fundamentally broken. If you don't know, we actually have the speed control model from the CTE for the attack jets, but not for the stealth jets. So whether they fix this problem by bringing in a hotfix to revert the changes, or they bring over the same speed control mechanics for the stealth jet, one way or another, it needs to be fixed. But in the meantime, the jets have been somewhat frustrating to use, so I've been going back to BF3, and I have been thoroughly enjoying myself. In fact, I've been having much more fun playing BF3, quite frankly, than I have playing Battlefield 4. So in this video, I wanted to look at the jets objectively, and think about some of the changes they implemented going from Battlefield 3 into Battlefield 4, and which of those were, in my eyes and my opinion, good changes, and which of them maybe they should take it back to the old days of Battlefield 3 with. So the first and arguably the biggest difference is of course which jets are available on which game modes. As you will know, in Battlefield 4 we have a stealth jet and an attack jet on most maps, which I think we can all agree is not really a fun situation to have. Everybody wants the attack jet. Any good pilot out there will be striving to spawn in the attack jet over the stealth jet, and it really just leaves the person in the stealth jet as a sort of backup dude who doesn't really have all too much to do. Of course, we've been wanting to get JDAMs in there, and a lot of people have been said the stealth jet is supposed to be anti-air and the attack jet is supposed to be anti-ground. Now you look back in Battlefield 3 and what you had is two of the same kind of jet. In the background footage here, you can see me flying the Super Hornet for the US side, and basically you've got a cannon and you've got rocket pods. However, these weapons aren't overly powerful. If you know how to use them and they're in good hands, you can pretty handily take out infantry, but you can't kill a tank in one rocket pod barrage. It's going to take at least two to get him down. Now you might say that having two of these jets that can easily take out tanks, infantry, enemy jets, enemy helicopters, etc. is a little bit overpowered, but then you have to also compare this to the differences between Stinger and Igla disables. So that's another really big change. In Battlefield 4, it will take around 3 Stingers or Heat Seekers or active radar missiles or whatever you want to call them to take you out. In Battlefield 3, it only takes 1 Stinger or Igla to disable you, meaning you will have to land and repair if you are a good enough pilot, but most of the time for most pilots, they're just going to bite the dust. So yes, the jets are perhaps more powerful, having 2 of them on a map, than 1 stealth jet and 1 attack jet, but on the flip side, they're very easy for infantry to actually get out of action. Now in my opinion, this simply presented a better learning skill curve. You could land the jets and repair them if you were good enough. Another mechanic that was also in Battlefield 3 is dodging missiles. Now dodging missiles is possible if you wait until the right moment that the missile is close enough to you, you do a 90-degree about turn and you head straight towards the missile. Sometimes the missile will be going so fast it will simply fly straight past you. This was not easy to do at all, and there were very few times that even great pilots can pull this off. Maybe some of the best could pull it off consecutively, but at least for me, I couldn't pull this off every time. It took some serious training, and I thought it was a really cool skill curve and a really cool mechanic to have in the game. So I was really sad when they actually took that out of Battlefield 4. Another mechanic, of course, that they had for both jets and helicopters was under radar, something that the Battlefield 4 community has been screaming for, especially for the helicopters, since Battlefield 4 was released. If you're not familiar with this, it actually stops the lock-on of heat seekers when you're flying close to the ground. Now, as a jet pilot, flying close to the ground of course puts you in many dangers. You can crash easily, you can get hit by tank shells. It's generally not a good idea, but sometimes it can get you out of danger if you're being locked by an enemy helicopter. But also bear in mind that this only actually works against heat seekers, so it doesn't work against stingers or igglers, and therefore it doesn't nerf them in any way. Another plus side of Battlefield 3, no active radar missiles. I don't know a single person who likes active radar missiles. I don't understand why DICE still have them in the game. Every single person I know finds them absolutely infuriating, whether they fly jets or helicopters. And yes, to be honest, when they just had heat seekers, igglers and stingers, that was enough, and I think they shouldn't have really put too much stuff in Battlefield 4, which was really what happened. They decided to just pump up everything, and they jammed the game full of new weapons, new gadgets. So on the whole, I would say that jets in Battlefield 3 had a lot less survivability. One stinger or one igler and you were down. But on the flip side, if you were a great pilot, you knew how to take advantage of your ECM, which worked better in Battlefield 3, by the way. You knew how to take advantage of under radar, and also dodging missiles, landing to repair, and all these different mechanics and little tricks that you had up your sleeve. You could actually stay alive as a jet pilot for a considerable amount of time and actually do some damage and some work on the enemy team. And that to me is just better. You can just be more skilled in Battlefield 3. And that's really what I think DICE should build on as a foundation when they look to make jets a thing in Battlefield 5. I have to say that I also preferred having attack jets as a rush-only vehicle in Battlefield 3. It just gave something special to playing rush mode, and that way the attack jets or the rush jets never had to go up against the fighter jets in a one-on-one situation with the different speed control models. The attack jets, I believe, had pretty much the same speed control as the fighter jets, only no afterburner. And then they were balanced, of course, because there was only one jet instead of two in a game of Rush. Now that being said though, there are a couple of good things that I do like in Battlefield 4. I do like, for example, the fact that they decided to increase the amount of secondary weapons for the jets. In Battlefield 3, all you have is the laser-guided missile and the rocket pods. In Battlefield 4, we have more stuff like the JDAMs, TV missiles, and all the rest of it. Now, unfortunately, it does seem that the only thing to pick from are JDAMs or the rocket pods, because TV missiles are just too underpowered. In fact, I don't know why they haven't buffed those in jets, because it is just not a viable secondary, not at all. But the JDAMs were a really cool addition. I loved using the JDAMs. It's my secondary weapon of choice, so I think that tells you how much I actually like that weapon. So that was a really cool addition to Battlefield 4. Another good thing in BF4 was the inclusion of air radar as something that was simply built into your jet. In Battlefield 3, there's this illusion of choice where you can pick between a few different options, but basically you have to run with air radar. If you don't, then you can't see enemy jets incoming. So they made that a mandatory thing, something that was already built into the jet, and you didn't actually have to waste one of your upgrade slots on it. So that's definitely a good thing, getting rid of some of those illusions of choice, just putting the mandatory things that every jet pilot needs in there, and then having more loadouts and more secondary options for people. So that's about all I have to say on the subject for today. If you guys have some things you'd like to discuss down below with me in the comment section, feel free to do so. I usually reply to everybody that I possibly can do, so don't be afraid of leaving a comment down below if you want to have a chat with me. If you enjoyed the video, leaving a like down below would be very much appreciated. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.